Hello, everyone. We made it. Episode 40. The big 40. Same age as I am, at least on my driver's license. Anybody that knows me would tell you emotionally I'm much younger. So, some cool things about this episode. One, obviously, the guest. I got to sit down with a good buddy of mine, Josh Bridges, who really the only words that could be used to describe him would be badass and tiny when it comes to height. I don't know if he qualifies as a hobbit or a dwarf. I like to think of him as both of those things, but he's a badass for sure. And I'm sure he'll listen to this and get mad at me, but I'm just joking, Josh. It's all right. He's an awesome guy. I've known him for a long time. I actually put him through SEAL training, and we ended up serving together at Team 3. So a pretty good history inside the military, and our paths cross consistently outside of the military as well. So that's one great aspect. Now, there's another cool aspect to this particular podcast as well, actually for the next 4. And what I'll say about what I'm going to do here in a moment is that my litmus test for sponsors of any kind, whether that's in the skydiving world or the base jumping world, I will not work with brands that I don't actually use. Meaning I'm not going to, if somebody reached out to me for, what would be a good example? In the skydiving world, if they reached out to me and they offered me a helmet, and it was a helmet that I had tried in the past or something that I had not used previously and I had already found a solution that works for me, regardless of what the offer is that came with that helmet, I'm not going to take it because I don't want to talk about something that I don't actually use, and I don't want to be involved in a business relationship with a product that I can't necessarily speak intimately about. Now, occasionally, you get an offer that comes to you that's, maybe it's a little bit harder to pass up for whatever the reason may be. And today, or actually I shouldn't say today, recently I got one of those offers, and it came in the form of a sponsorship or an ad read for the podcast. And for this particular product, I have zero experience using it. I know a lot of people that have, but I personally have zero experience. But the reality is, I kind of look at it as a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity or a 4-time-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So I'm going to go with it. But I'll just tell you right up front, I don't have any personal experience with it. I just couldn't pass it up. So before I begin with the ad read, if you have kids listening, maybe be a good time for earmuffs, because this particular product is tailored towards more of an adult audience. Here we go. This episode of Cleared Hot is brought to you by BlueChew.com. BlueChew.com. What's Blue Chew, you might ask? Let me tell you. It's a pill for your wang. As guys get older, things start to wear down a little bit. And specifically what we're talking about, from what I've been told, is bedroom performance. So for you guys out there who are having an issue in the bedroom, maybe you're looking to clock in at a little bit of a longer time. Maybe you want to go those few extra rounds. Go to BlueChew.com. It is the first ever chewable that takes your performance to another level. So check out these stats. Same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. So they work, right? I couldn't tell you because I have never tried it, but I've heard good things. Since they're chewable, they work faster than a pill. You can take them anytime you want to. You can take them in the daytime, at nighttime. You can take them on a full stomach or an empty one. And it's cheaper than both of those other pills, the Viagra and Cialis. So it's kind of a no-brainer. And the cool thing about BlueChew.com is you don't have to go to a doctor's office and sit there with other dudes with wang issues because they come straight to your house. Blue Chew ships straight to your door. So here's the deal that Blue Chew is offering to the listeners. If you go to BlueChew.com, you'll get your first shipment for free if you use the promo code HOT, H-O-T. If you can go and get these things, it sounds to me like it might actually end up being H-O-T. So you got to pay $5 from shipping. BlueChew.com, BlueChew.com, promo code HOT. They're prescribed online and by a doctor here in the U.S., and they're made in the USA. So if you're into that type of thing, or you're looking for that type of thing, go get you some. But make sure you hydrate. make sure you stretch. Maybe consider it to be more of a marathon than a sprint. I don't know. I just don't know what you're into. But if you're into this, it's a pretty good offer. And that's it. Episode 40, cleared hard or hot, whatever you want to think of. Coming at you. Let's do it.
Okay, got the red smoke. Gun run, north to south, west of the smoke, west of the smoke. Okay, copy, west of the smoke. I'm looking at danger close now. Come on with it, baby, give it to me, I need it. You're cleared hot. Copy, cleared hot.
When we sat down last year, had you competed already in your regional? I'm trying to figure out I know we were in Atlanta.
What the fuck were we in Atlanta for?
We were in Atlanta for a regional. I think you were there for
yeah.
Killcliff.
Yeah, so I'd already competed then because there's no way I would have went to that prior to.
So has it been over a year? Because I don't feel like...
Maybe that was that 16?
No, because you were episode number 2, and this one is going to be episode number 40. I'll release it on Monday.
Okay.
I've kind of been on the track of like once every Monday so I'm like, either I suck and I'm 12 episodes short,
right?
Or I don't know. I thought it had...
It had to be at least my regional had to be because I wouldn't have gone.
Yeah, I didn't think you would have unless it was a couple months out. Which
so it must have been after my regional. It must have been like week 3 then or something.
And so how about this year? When is your regional?
Next week.
They released the workouts already?
Oh yeah. The regional first week is going right now.
Well, I know that.
Yeah. So of course the workouts are released.
I guess I did know that. It's better when you say it though because you pay attention to fitness and exercise, and I really largely don't.
You're just being awesome now up there in Montana.
Well,
I'm so jealous.
Dude, let's just kick off with one of you coming to visit.
And after next week.
You have open invitation, man. You always got a place to stay.
You know I'm coming up, so.
And you said you've passed through, but you've never really...
I've been in Whitefish. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's 10 minutes. Well, it's not 10. It's 10 miles from our house. It generally takes like 11 minutes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right.
The rush hour will kill you.
Get crushed up there in Montana.
You might get stuck behind like a car.
Right. Or a Razor.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a lot of Razors on the road.
You know what's crazy? In the damn middle of the winter, I saw a dude rolling into Albertsons in a Razor with no windshield, no covering on the top at all. Just the thickest jacket I've ever seen, goggles, and just a beard coming out that was frozen.
Just being a man.
I suppose that could be a definition of a man, or he was being irresponsible or not very smart.
Sounds made up.
Well, you got to come up, man. So
no, I want to.
Yeah.
I love Montana.
So there's only been one thing I've wanted to ask you about since the last time we sat down. It literally has been bugging the shit out of me.
Oh, here we go.
I need to know more about when you were a telemarketer. That's all I care about because I wish I would have asked you.
Oh, man.
I want to hear about the crazy shit people said to you when they called you or when you called them because obviously you had their number. But like, what was the craziest rebuttal or response that you got from somebody when you were calling?
Oh, man. I don't There was one where this guy was, I think he was with his lady at the time, and
his special friend,
his special lady friend, if you may. And he's like, "Hey, man, I'm in the middle of something right now," and I'm like, "Why did you answer your phone?"
Obviously, you don't recognize the number, so why are you picking up?
Why are you picking up the phone if you're in the middle of something right now? So that was, and he was like, he kind of got into a little detail, and I don't know if he was just messing with me or not, but it was pretty funny. And then that one was good. There was, a lot of they used the old Seinfeld line where like, "Oh, can I have your number and let me call you back during your dinner time?" And I was like, "Oh, never heard that one,"
Except for on your first day when you probably had never heard that one.
Right, exactly.
I just can't imagine that's. I'm sure I caught you slightly off guard with that question, but because it caught me off guard when you said, I was like, "What?" And then the whole time I think about the calls that I get, and now, after your explanation though of, you're sitting there and it's dialing for you. So anytime I say hello, and there's like a 2 or 3 second delay, insta hang up, straight to contacts, block the number.
I do the exact same thing. It's like immediately like block number. I get like 7 a day. And you just like, you can't block that many. I mean, I block them still, but it's like, geez.
If you go into your phone and pull up the list of block numbers, and it's just
it's crazy. And it's always from your, like, I don't have a San Diego area code. Almost all of them come from my, like, 314, like my St. Louis area code.
So what's crazy, so we live in Montana now. I still have the 858 area code. Almost every call I get is 619
Yeah.
or 858.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is they're calling from their own personal cell phone, I think, because when you go
Really?
to the contact thing, it lights up iMessage.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I mean,
And then sometimes it'll say, like, I like it when it says maybe this person.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that?
yeah, because that means you've probably received an email from them.
Okay.
And
yeah.
the algorithm that knows more about you than we probably know about ourselves
Exactly.
is, yeah, that one trips me out a little bit. If you want to figure out how much the dark web is paying attention and
Right.
how deep they're into your hooks, it's.
Yeah.
So did you get training as a telemarketer? This
Oh,
is
yeah.
all we're going to talk about for like.
Good. I love it. That's easy. It was a week-long training.
Stop it.
I want to say I crushed it. Obviously, I finished top of my class.
Yeah, class of one.
might have been an honor man. I don't know.
I was the honor man. I was the
the
only
honor-
person in the class, but I definitely
No,
smashed the training.
I was not the only person in that class. There was like at least 30 of us in this class. And so you're in a room, and there's basically just computers outlining the walls.
And was this class all for one company, or did people?
Yeah. that
Okay.
it was all for SBC,
Okay.
the phone company. Now AT&T, I
Yep.
believe. Yeah, it was an interesting experience. I mean, it was the worst hours.
Well, tell me about the training. I want to know the
I don't
secrets that
even-
they told
to
you.
be honest, I don't even remember. It was all about like just kind of rebuttaling and.
Oh, I love the rebuttals.
You
I like
know,
to play with
yeah.
them sometimes.
I mean, it's the rebuttals are straight from a script.
Yeah.
It's not like their own made up rebuttals. It's just like blah blah. And you don't even get anything if you like make sales. It's like there's no motivation whatsoever in these places.
Well, and you're saying you're not even control the phone dialing. Like
Yeah.
it hangs up and it's already
The moment.
Oh God.
So you would what I used to pray for? I used to pray people would put me on hold for like 30 minutes, and I would sit there and I would deal with it. And all of a sudden, like 30 minutes later, they would hang up, and I'd be like, yes.
Yes.
That just wasted 30 minutes of my day. It was crazy. Or people would, people would be like, hold on, I got another call. Can you hold on for me? And I'd be like, sure can.
Yeah.
Because then I could actually like sit there and relax.
Yeah.
Because the moment you hit end call, because the person hung up, or if the person hung up on you, like it was just like beep right in your ear, beep, another call, beep, another call, and you're just like, and then you had to actually like dial something into the phone to take your breaks, and you only got 2 15-minute breaks, and if you took any more, then like after a while you'd get a little talking to.
Yeah, it's coming out of your paycheck,
Yeah,
son.
hey, buddy.
We don't pay you to take breaks.
Right, time is money,
That has to be illegal. 2 15-minute breaks cannot be.
and
You
an
can't
hour
do it.
and an hour of lunch, obviously, but
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it was
it's mighty kind of them.
right, right, good.
And you
dude.
did it for over a year.
I did it for a year and a half. There was one time I did get bumped up into where I was inputting stuff into the computer, so I was no longer on the phone, and that was like the best 3 months of my life. I was like, this is amazing. And you were literally just, I can't even remember what it was, but you were literally reading an Excel spreadsheet and putting it into a computer, and I was like, this is amazing.
You were just importing data off a.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And that was that was so much better than actually
Yeah.
telemarketing.
Yeah. I remember the days when like a strawberry milkshake was the best thing in my life, and then you get some more life experience. You look back and like, that strawberry milkshake is still pretty good, but
Right.
I got a little bit more perspective now, and things are maybe a little bit better.
Man, I'll tell you what, that job was an experience, and I think that every person should do it for at least a month of their life
Everybody should have a job.
to realize
Yeah.
how you never want to do something like that.
You should be forced to have a job that sucks.
Yeah, of
that you
course.
don't want to do, but you have to do it to pay your bills.
Right.
And then because if everything's gravy and you don't have any appreciation for it,
And you can't quit. You
Yeah.
can't, like, there's no quitting.
there's like a little whining allowed, but you can't
right, yeah,
quit.
you can whine to like your friends. That's okay. That's life.
But when you say, hey, you raise your hand and go, I quit, and you go, no, get back in the pool.
no, you can't.
Yeah.
I'm
like
sorry.
the foreign students who used to try to quit during the tread, and I would say, you can quit
Yeah.
in 4 minutes and 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Or I accept your quitting. I accept your DOR. However, finish the evolution.
Right. I want to allow you to quit right now, but you can quit in 6 months
Oh, my God.
when you have to go back home.
Did I tell you about when they would drop their weight belts?
No.
They would do it consistently, right? They would always drop their weight belt. And they would try to come to this, the side, and I'd just push them off. I think, I need to describe this evolution. You know what? You describe the evolution because you went through it the most recently, and then I'll describe what I did to these poor people.
So was that the tread?
The tread.
Yeah, the tread. Okay. So basically, you have two twin 80s on your back. You have a weight belt and
Which are scuba tanks.
which
Twin
is-
80s are scuba tanks.
sorry, scuba tanks. And you got your fins on, and you have to tread water for 5 minutes with your hands out of the water.
Yeah, the crease in the wrist is generally the criteria that it has to be out of the water. And it seems like people either crush it
Yeah.
or they really, really, really don't crush it.
Right. Which typically means drowning.
They get close, and it's funny. Most of BUD/S as an instructor was pattern recognition. Like, I could tell you 10 seconds before somebody passes out underwater what it looks like, right? Because they start the chicken neck, and that's okay. It's when the bubbles start coming out with the chicken neck that you got about 5 seconds. Right. So you see them down there, and they're like, you're like, all right, you're good. I need to go to the surface. Yeah. I need to get a breath because we're about to have a party downstairs. And you go down, and then, start tapping them on the head because they're about to go out, and you know the deal. You've been through it. So the tread, pattern recognition, the monkey hand was the first indication that things were going wrong. And I don't know how to describe what I'm doing with my hand other than flexing every muscle and joint into like a
It's like
weird
a claw.
claw.
The claw.
Because most people will start, they have like a nice bladed hand, their fingers are together, and they're relaxed. And the smart people, they take a deep breath, they just put their head in the water. It's not that hard.
No.
I say that I came from a water polo background, so for me, those evolutions where it was like treading water for me and drown proofing, I was like, oh God, thank God. Like I would pop my head over water and hear them going, Brad, and quiet and peaceful.
Quiet. Yeah.
So that didn't bother me, but these people, they start and they're relaxed, and you can tell almost immediately. One, you can tell because you can tell they're sweating while in the pool water while holding on to the edge. They don't want to let go, and they want to get out there. But yeah, it starts with the rigid hand, and it goes from this nice blade and just starts clawing in, and that is the indication. That is the indication that you're going to have a problem. And the most beautiful thing you can see is somebody who's sinking down and their hands go underwater because you can't use your hands, right? If you bring your hands down to assist, you're done. So they slowly start sinking, and you see them, and they're looking up, and they're screaming, but all you see is bubbles. It's just, So it's more beautiful than like a sun setting over the ocean.
What a beautiful sight.
So
during my tread, I remember I actually failed the first time I did it because.
And you get 4 attempts, so it's not like a make or break.
Yeah, you get 4 attempts. And the only reason I failed was because actually my weight belt just started slipping off. And it just started to come off.
Yeah.
And I was like, gosh damn it, I felt it to start to go.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm trying to like spread my legs out even wider to kind of hold it up.
That ain't gonna work well
That ain't
for
gonna
you.
work, and it's like, and all of a sudden I'm like, so, I'm at like chin deep, kind of treading, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoop, I'm like up here, and I'm like, and all the instructors just like whoosh.
Yeah.
And then the guy actually,
Bridges, why are your nipples out of the water?
Right. The instructor goes down, and he grabs my weight belt and he throws it over one shoulder, and it just completely.
Oh yeah, you get started listing backwards.
It was like I was like started going sideways, and I was like, okay, this is enough.
So the students, the foreign exchange students, which we really had no ability to not pass. Like they're getting the participation trophy award at BUD/S.
Yeah,
whether I say they shouldn't be there, whether they fail every evolution, our job is to largely provide for them an experience and make sure they don't die while receiving the experience, right?
Right.
So most common, they would do the monkey paw, and then boosh, weight belt goes, and they're like, I quit. I want to come to the side. And it's like, no, get back out there. And then I would have another instructor come on, like, hey, watch this guy for a second, because I'm going to go get the weight belt. And it's going to go over the back of your twin 80s. And it gets stuffed down on your shoulder straps.
Yeah.
Now it's not coming off.
No.
And then it gets real. Then they'd start firing their life jacket because it has a CO2 cartridge in there. Yeah. Which is fine because I know where the manual release knob is. And I would just sit there and look at him and make eye contact and just
as they slowly
as it started. And at this point, they have their hands in the water. They want it out. And I even had a student just come up full ballistic missile submarine on me and just bear hug me. And I had a snorkel, so I just took a breath through it, just like a nice deep breath, just and let it out, and we just started sinking. And
Let's
I'm
go, buddy.
relaxed. I just
Yeah, right.
stopped him. He grabbed me. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's go for a ride." We
Yeah.
just started going to the
We'll go to the
bottom.
bottom of the ocean.
Halfway to the bottom of the pool, he did not want to partake in that ride
No.
anymore.
Yeah, of course you didn't. I do that with my boys in the pool all
Yeah.
the time. Oh, you wanna jump on my back over and over again? Okay, let's go to the bottom of the pool and hang out.
Yeah, I don't even know how in the hell we started talking about the tread, but goddamn, I missed that evolution.
We were talking about quitting when you did but you couldn't quit.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
happens. Finish the evolution.
Yeah. Just,
I accept your resignation. However,
Right.
finish the workday.
however, you're gonna go ahead and take about 50 more calls on that telemarketing.
Yeah.
So and get that call waiting out there, buddy. Come on.
I tell you what, man, though, people, I'm sure people ask you all the time, too, about buds. Like, what's it like? And my goal is to try to express them. You actually don't learn much.
Right.
It's really difficult. It's a selection process, and you get taught later. Like I taught in the diving phase. And I'm sure I told your class, like I told every other class, do not go out diving on the weekends. You guys don't know anything about diving.
Right.
This isn't a diving test.
Right.
This is a test about managing stress and
Yeah, you
your
got it.
ability to follow procedure.
There was something there I was gonna tell
Is
you.
there?
Yeah,
Got
you
it,
got
dude.
it. You got it.
That was in the cave.
Now it's probably on the floor.
No, I wiped it on my pants.
It's not
Your
a big
dog
deal.
can get it later.
Good.
But yeah, tell them, like, the purpose of this test is stress. Stress, I wouldn't say inoculation, but management. Don't go elsewhere and try to get crazy with this stuff.
No.
Like it's not a lot about learning. It's really difficult. And it's funny to me how many people I encounter who think that after BUDS you're a SEAL.
Yeah. Right. Oh yes. Yeah.
And I always say, BUD stands for Basic Underwater Demolition / SEAL, emphasis on the B.
Right.
It's like the biggest uppercase 48 font B. Everything
Yeah.
else is like a 10 font italicized
Right.
micro small,
You learn so little in BUDS. And
which is the point of it.
That's exactly no. You're right. Exactly. So it is. It's just. It's so funny because, like we said, like everyone thinks that you're this, like you're a bad dude if like you're.
Yeah.
Oh man, this dude's a SEAL after he graduates BUDS, which isn't even close. And I always tell people like, BUDS isn't even the hardest thing we do. Not even close.
I mean, think about back over your career. I for myself personally, I was way colder after BUDS than I ever was during.
ever.
And I feel like I was more exhausted from at least a mental processing, mental acuity perspective later.
Oh my.
Way hotter and way more pain.
Right. Well, I mean, the stuff you do, like even like and the deployment's like its own beast, right?
Yeah.
When you do stuff like that,
Just the occupation, the grind of the occupation.
right. The workups that you would do,
Yeah.
And I feel like you were probably, I don't know, maybe you weren't ever in a Jocko workup, but
I would augment. I went
Okay.
out there with like Zog's
okay,
troop
yeah,
to
yeah.
give them a little bit of off the bench support.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, that guy. I tell people that all the time. I'm like BUDS doesn't even compare. BUDS doesn't compare to one training trip that we would do
Yeah.
during those workups.
You know what I think makes the training trips harder though is the mental, not mentally tough aspect, but you're required to have skills on top of toughness.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So your brain is focusing on all the techniques and all this shit you have to remember.
right.
And again, I try to tell people about being a SEAL. It's the jack of all trades, right? You're a master of none. You're
Yep.
constantly fighting with not being current because you'll dive for 2 weeks and you're like, okay, guys, we're going to go jump. And you're like, ooh,
I haven't done that in a year and a
how
half.
do you practice parachute again?
Right.
And then you're out, okay, we're going out to the desert for a month. And then you're rock solid on your IABs. And you come
Yeah.
back and it's like,
All right, CQC. Here we
yeah,
go.
CQC, like, ooh.
Oh, mobility. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's like exactly. It's this constant struggle of staying current.
But that's what makes it hard. Like the job
Yeah.
the job is physically hard, but if you layer on top of that, you need to have ability and capacity and a skill set of some kind.
Right.
Which in BUDS you don't have to have a skill.
No.
Well, I should take that back. The skill is don't quit.
Yeah. Right.
And yeah,
Can you get kicked in the nuts and keep moving?
correct.
You know.
And another thing I constantly tell people is that BUDS and the SEAL teams don't screen for character,
No.
which is why there's weeds in every yard, right?
course,
we
yeah.
have. Are you paying attention at all right now to the SEAL community? Like what just happened on the East Coast?
Which one was that? Is that the guy that got hit
I think
with
10 dudes just got kicked out on the East Coast for
No.
drugs.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
No, they're not.
and I'm getting that second or third hand, or maybe that's still in the process. But I would call those things character deficiency issues, which don't display themselves when you have a boat
Right.
over your head,
No, yeah.
or you're underwater.
Right.
People who can manage stress still can be bad people. It's just every time I ever talk about SEAL stuff, I always try to reinforce the fact that just because you're a team guy doesn't mean
Yeah.
you're a good guy.
No, exactly.
So,
Very true.
good
I
God.
mean, how about that dude that the guy that he like they Well, the reason he got caught with the whole like child molestation thing was because
Oh, that was here.
was that the West Coast?
That was here in the West Coast. Yeah. No,
I thought it was
on the East Coast. You're
Yeah.
right. For some reason, I feel like he got flown here to be tried,
yeah.
or it also happened with the West Coast guy.
I think he was a West Coast on the East Coast when it happened because he went through. I put him through CQC training.
Okay.
I didn't remember him. I remember the name. But
I did
I didn't
too.
remember his face.
Yeah.
And but that story. Oh my! I hope you know.
The pictures on the phone. like-
Yeah, right. So like, and the reason he got caught with the phone stuff was because
A woman turned him in, right?
Yeah, a woman. They think he raped a girl, or a girl basically like he had a night with some girl, and then she woke up and didn't know what happened, and so she went to he dropped
You're
her
right.
off, he dropped her off at the front of the base, and then she went and told the guard, and then they went and like
Confiscated his
his
phone.
phone and went through his phone, and then found like him molesting a little girl, or allegedly, whatever. I don't know if it's all whatever. It was crazy though. That story was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And again, like just like you said, you know,
Occupation and character are not the same thing.
no, not at all.
Yeah, I be very careful and cautious with who people put their trust in for sure, because there's some snake oil salesmen out there
For sure.
in good old uniform.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's talk about what you're doing now. I have a feeling you're moderately. Actually, before I talk about what's going on now, fill me in on what happened at last year's games. How'd that go for you?
Just great, man. I loved it.
No, I think it's important. Like, as
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one of the last questions I asked you, I think the last time we talked, is whether or not you think you could win the games. And I know you go in. I mean, you know, I've known each
Yeah.
other for a while. I know
Yeah.
you take it super serious. Like, you're dedicating your life to it. And I was out there at the games, but if I'm being completely honest, not really paying attention to the competition. I was working with sponsors and
Yeah,
brands.
of course.
And you know, the first evolution was a run, swim, run, right?
Right.
Which I don't know if you're any good at those. I don't know if you've ever done a run, swim,
Never
run.
done anything like that.
Yeah. When I
Yeah.
think things that are designed for your wheelhouse, I would think
Yeah.
running, not a crazy distance.
No, it was only a mile and a half.
Yeah, swimming right in your wheelhouse, and then let's just get right back out and run.
Yeah, it was an interesting. I was super fired up for that workout when it came out, and did some run throughs here. And gosh, I was like, okay, I think this is going to be a good time. And if I would have ran those times, it would have been. But things changed. I don't really know what exactly happened. I never actually got like a final like, hey, this is what happened. But so I run out. I went out a little hotter than I should have. You know,
Yeah.
on the first run, definitely was running a little bit faster than I was.
Rookie move.
right.
It's totally how
Such a-
I would have totally won the event by doing the exact opposite.
Exactly. So had a really brain fart moment there, and I went out way hotter than I should have. It was just, I think I was just in the moment, got caught up, and it is what it is. But
And this is summertime, Madison, Wisconsin, too.
Yeah,
we got to tell
yeah.
the stage a little bit, yeah.
and you know, it actually wasn't a bad morning though.
Yeah, the
because
weather there
it
was a little
it was
odd.
Like, it was like rainy that
Rainy,
morning.
windy, yeah.
Yeah, and so hit the water. I think I was like third or fourth in, maybe fifth. I can't remember the exact number, but
Front of the
man.
pack, doing well.
Yeah, I got in that water and I've never felt so uncomfortable swimming in it. And like it brought me back to my very first PST test in a pool at a YMCA where I was like, I'm gonna drown on these 500 meters. I think I was doing breaststroke on that first PST, and I'm pretty sure I did quite a bit of breaststroking on that swim this year. And I've been working on my swim, so it was I don't know.
What do you think it was? What caused you to feel uncomfortable?
Yeah, I think I was out of breath and I couldn't breathe, but I was like all chest breathing. I couldn't get a deep breath and like just like start to. I couldn't come down and relax, which swimming I typically can.
Yeah.
I can actually get into like a zone and relax, and
Yeah.
and I started to like just gulp down that Madison water, and it was delicious. And
It's just like Fiji water, right?
yeah, right, exactly. Basically, comes straight out of a bottle, one of those square bottles. And so I got out of the water, and I was so disoriented, and my legs were cramping, and it was the most.
Where'd you come out of the water? You went in like
Oh.
third to fifth, and
I probably. I mean, I don't know. I got passed by a lot of people on that run too. So I'm not sure where I came out of, but it probably like if I had to guess, like 20th or 25th.
Okay.
You know, and so, because I think I ended up in like 37th or 6th. I don't even remember the number, but it was basically almost last.
yeah.
And so I got out of the water, and my legs were cramping. I couldn't run, and then so you know, finished like whatever I finished, like 36th, 37th. And then like after that, like I don't know what happened, if it was something in the water, if it was something prior to the week I ate or something, but I couldn't get off the toilet, and so
Your body was in rejection mode?
yeah, it was just anything that was like water was going in and it was coming straight out.
Wow.
Food was going in, it was coming straight out. I think between the first event and the second event, I went to the bathroom 8 times, not number 1.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't keep anything. I couldn't stay hydrated. I was super dehydrated up for the second event. I almost was like in my head like, I don't know if I should get on this bike or not. Because the second event was the bike event.
Yep. What was the name of that event? What's that called? That event where you run with the bike over? God, I should know this.
Cross cycle or cyclocross.
Steeplecross?
No,
cyclocross.
Cyclocross.
Okay.
Cyclocross.
Do you think about getting IVs or anything for fluids, or is that even an option for the athletes?
I don't know. I don't think it's legal in WADA, but I think it is for medical, like only if it's a medical case.
Okay.
So
You probably have to go down for that medical issue though, for them to throw,
right.
throw
Yeah.
an IV in you.
Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of like I remember, and there wasn't a big gap in between event 1 and 2. I want to say it was maybe an hour and a half or so, and so I was just like, well, I'm gonna get on the bike. It is where it is. I'll just say it's mud if it's there's something on my leg.
Perfect. Yeah. Pre-planning the explanation.
Right. And then event 2, I was actually pretty pumped on because I love biking. I do a lot of mountain biking and was actually excited about it. Again, the same thing was happening where I just could not pedal. The cramping that was going on in my legs was unreal. I've never even felt any. I've never even had cramping like that before.
Even in all the training volume that you do leading
No.
up to all that.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I've never. I think I just try to. I stay pretty hydrated. So didn't have any issues. I've never really had any cramping issues before. And then, it was just bad. And
Where'd you net out after that one?
I was pretty low on that
Yeah.
one again. So I was probably I was sitting in probably like 36th place, 37th place. I can't remember. So it was a great start to the day. And then we had, I like to say I started off weak and faded fast.
It's my running technique. I like to start off slow and then just really taper it off from
Yeah,
there.
right. So then the last event of the first day was a snatch muscle up workout, which I was like, this is going to be great.
It's designed for you,
Yeah,
your body type,
yeah. And I couldn't breathe. I felt like someone. I felt like I was doing the workout holding my breath. Is what I felt like I was doing. So it was great. I loved it. The same thing again. I remember I had to wear I wore some knee sleeves because it was a squat snatch.
Yeah.
And I remember I went to take off my shoes afterwards, and I just went like this and like grabbed the back of my heel with my left foot, and I remember I thought my calf was gonna rip in half. Oh. It was like
a full muscle seizure and a cramp.
It was a full muscle seizure. It was just I was like, I had to sit down. It took about probably 20 seconds for it to go away, and it was awful. And I was like, well, it's gonna be a good weekend, boys.
This is awesome. It's going exactly as I
This
planned
is
it.
exactly how I had it written down.
So you get done with day 1, and the reason I asked you about the games is because I'm curious as to what do you tell yourself going into day 2? Because mathematically, right, for people who aren't familiar with the games, how many workouts did you guys end up doing? 11?
Was it? No, it's typically like 14.
So it's a lot.
Yeah.
In 3 days. So let's say 15 for even number.
Yeah.
Or not an even number, an odd number. Mathematically, though, at some point,
Yeah.
okay.
Your chances are slim to none.
Yeah. You're probably not going to win. Chances of making the podium, questionable. And then there's a cut, too, right? Saturday.
No, they don't do cuts anymore.
All right, good.
Now you do the full field stays the entire weekend, which is better because
I think so.
Because then there's actually a chance to make some movement in the leaderboard where if you make those cuts, it's a lot less likely to have that movement go on.
Yeah. So, and again, I asked you because I know you had a plan going in.
Yeah.
I knew where you were the last time we talked.
Right.
I know what you thought about the games. So you get handed just a massive bag of dicks, right? It's the only way to describe that. And I think it's important to talk about because people get handed those all the time, to include myself.
Right.
So the transition from day 1 to day 2, and knowing you have to be there the whole weekend, you're probably mathematically eliminated from finishing where you want to.
You're right.
How do you keep yourself in it? What do you tell yourself?
You know, at that point, it was just like, well, you came here, you prepared this whole time. Yeah, you didn't go quite as well as you'd hoped.
Got a little off script.
To say the least. And I was just like, you know what, it is what it is. Like, I could sit here and pout and feel sorry for myself, and maybe and walk away, maybe just be like, hey, I'm just gonna step out and quit.
Yeah, throw the towel in.
Throw the towel in and be like,
because you could have said, hey, it's a medical issue.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
right, you got a massive,
right.
I have an off ramp here.
Yeah, I got handed my excuse. I got handed my out, and I was like, there's no way I'm taking this, right?
Yep.
That was really it. That was it for me. I just kind of, Reagan, go.
This dog's attacking.
Yeah. Go lay down, girl. Go. I got handed my out, and I was like, there's no way I'm taking that. Like, that's not the kind of guy I am. That's not the kind of guy I want to be. And it is what it is. I'm going to go out and I'm going to continue to compete. This is something I train for all year long.
Yeah.
I have a huge support system with my sponsors and, like these people who have traveled here to come watch me compete. There's no way I'm going to step off this floor because day one didn't go so well. So,
yep.
And that was kind of how I had to look at it. I did a little bit of feeling sorry for myself for a little bit, and I kind of just I went home that night and I had some food, and I was just like, listen, man, like, talking to myself, I'm like, this happens to people all the time.
Yep.
Like, this is what it is. It's just, it happens. Sometimes shit just doesn't go your way.
Yeah.
And so
sometimes it happens often.
yeah, right.
Like you're saying, the excuse that you got presented to you, I think people need to realize that that's a choice, right? Like, take the excuse.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Yeah.
And don't take it.
Right.
It's a choice. Nobody's forcing you to take it. I think the difference that separates people is if that you call that an intersection in the road is the direction that you take on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I get those choices all the time. Like, it's like, I don't want to wake up early. Right. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And then I look, I'm like, well, this is why I do this. This is why I do that. So I tell people do the hard thing. Right?
Always.
So you have choices in life, and every choice has an easier answer, and everyone has a harder answer. I say go to the harder one.
Always.
Like my kids, they don't understand this lesson because they're little shih tzus. They like to put toilet paper on top of the toilet paper roll in a vertical fashion instead of undoing the cardboard and putting a new one on and throwing the other one away. They're like, it doesn't matter, Dad. I'm like, well, it matters if that laziness impacts when you go have breakfast and you instead of putting your dishes in the dishwasher, you put them on the sink.
Yep.
And then that decision gathers momentum, and then you go to pack your backpack, and you weren't paying attention because you don't really care. It's like, I'm just going to wad up my stuff and throw it in my bag, and you get to school and you don't have your work.
Right.
Or you decide not to do your work. Like, I try to teach them about momentum.
Right, for sure.
On the good and the bad side, because both of them build, for sure.
Definitely. The little choices. I like what you're going with that is basically like it's the little choices in life that make the big things happen, like make everything work right. Like just getting up and out of your bed, making your bed.
Yeah.
Like that's just like, okay, well I got my bed made.
And I have to explain to people when they use, who was it? It was not McChrystal. It was McCraven.
McCraven. Yep.
You have no idea how many times people said, "Hey man, do you make your bed every morning?" And I go, it's not actually about making your bed.
Right.
You understand that, right?
Yeah, right.
It's about doing something disciplined first thing in the morning. And then they go, oh, I thought it was just about making your bed. Like, God damn it. You're missing the entire point of what he was saying.
Yeah, I mean, what he was saying was so amazing and so impactful.
Small, disciplined actions that gain momentum and will have a macro impact on your life is what he was actually saying.
Yeah. Like up in Alaska, I remember like the cold weather training. They always emphasize like how you packed your gear, and then how you when you were out in the field how you unpacked it and if you repacked it, and just like gypsy camps. They'd always tell you like the first person that gets shot in a patrol is the guy who has the gypsy camp looking backpack.
Oh, 100%. Because he can't find his magazines. You know his gun isn't clean.
Right. So it's like that always like resonated with me for sure, where it's like, okay, like if you can make these small little things like, just being organized with the way you pack your bag.
Attention to detail, if you will.
Attention to detail.
A theme that if you are in the military, specifically inside of the SEAL teams, that you are going to hear that in your nightmares.
Yeah.
Attention to detail.
For sure. So, so going back to making that decision where it was like, okay, I can either throw in the towel here and give up and for the games, it just wasn't really even ever an option, to be honest. It was just like, why would I quit? Because I got a little stomach bug and shit's not going my way. Okay, it is
literally.
What it is. Yeah, right, exactly. So, did that, and and after that, I just kind of like it was like, all right, just take it one event at a time, and go out and do the best that you can. Work with what you got and do the best you can. And I didn't feel normal again until about Saturday night, I think, when I took second in the thruster workout.
Yeah, that was inside in the arena, right?
Yeah. And that was like the first moment of the weekend where I felt like normal again.
Yeah. That's the performance that you were, I shouldn't say planning on, but expected from yourself.
Right, yeah, exactly. That was what I felt really good going into training. Maybe not as good as I had in the past years, but I still felt good enough to go out and at least be like a top 5, top 8 finish in the games that year.
Where'd you finally net out?
20 after they pulled Ricky Gerard, not 29th.
What? So I watched a portion of the documentary, and his name came up.
Yeah.
And I love how, of course, they knew the results as they were making the documentary.
Right.
And I'm assuming they probably asked everybody about performance-enhancing drugs that they interviewed probably leading up to the games.
Right.
But I really love the fact that they spent a little bit extra time on him having his answer to performance-enhancing.
I want to say they actually went out after the game.
Oh, no way. So they probably knew he was dirty and then filmed it?
Yeah, I want to say that was...
I hope that is actually
I think
that's a little bit more mischievous.
It's better, right?
It's devious,
I loved it too. Yeah.
So I'll let you kind of explain what happened because you're more
familiar. Ricky Gerard takes third in the games, and then after the final event, they basically take the top 4 to 6. I don't know exactly how many, but 4 to 6 people off to a drug testing protocol immediately following the final event. You actually get a handler immediately following the event, and so you can't go off and do something. Immediately go into drug
Strap
testing.
your bag of urine to the inside of your shorts.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, so then he got drug tested and ended up coming back positive. To be honest, I don't even know what the drug was he was taking. I think it was SARMs or something.
I don't know. From again limited knowledge and just watching a little bit of that documentary, I don't know if it was the because I know there's a difference between. I have almost no experience with this, but a difference between like the enhancing drugs and then the drugs that you take to hide it. I guess there's
right.
2 different ones, or a precursor, or something like that. There was something.
Yeah. Like
it wasn't like Winstrol or some recognizable thing that most people might recognize. It was almost something associated with a drug taken to mask it.
Yeah, masking it.
Or something you have to take alongside of it to keep your hormonal balance in check. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah, like I don't know anything about any of that stuff. I love it when people always say, "Oh, a drug test is an IQ test." I'm like, "Well, I must be an idiot because I would fail every time because I have no idea about any of this stuff." But yeah, I remember reading something about it. I think it was a masking agent, and so so he pops positive. They end up stripping him of his 3rd place medal, and then so everyone shifts forward 1. Patrick Vellner ended up taking 3rd, which is good for him. Great. Pat's a great guy.
You think it's a good thing or a bad thing that happened for the sport of CrossFit? And by that I mean the competitive side of the house, the games.
I think in the end on the cover, on the surface, it looks bad. It's like obviously you want to hope that every single athlete's out there on the same level playing field. I hope in the end it turns out to be somewhat of a blessing in disguise, where it shows that CrossFit is going after it, trying to keep the sport clean, and they're, it's a tough thing to do, right? Because the cheaters are always typically ahead of the people testing them, and that's
from the pro athletes I know.
Right.
It's basically they have. I wouldn't say that the pro athletes necessarily have staffs, but they have like a guy who is aware of the testing protocol, and they're 3 steps ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
And they'll get a call like, "Hey, stop that! Start this."
Did you ever see the documentary Icarus?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like that is.
Or just the stuff about Lance Armstrong. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, the guy who created the test for WADA sat there and said, he's like, "Can you catch all these cheaters?" And he said no. And he's the guy creating the test. Like, he doesn't even have his faith in his own test.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so terrible. But I hope in the end that him getting DQ'd and getting a suspension for 4 years. I wish it was maybe even a little harsher. Like a 10-year ban, to where it's like, okay, you're never.
That'd be
it's basically
that's a hard stop.
It's a lifetime ban without giving a lifetime ban kind of thing.
Because a decade in your competitive window, you'd be
Done.
lucky to have a 10-year competitive
Right,
window.
exactly. If you have 10 years in you, that's insane.
Yeah.
Because I think then even that would even make it that much more likely to stop people from doing it. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
if I get caught now I'm done. Like
Yeah.
that's it.
The
Where
work you've put in to get to that point, it's
over.
squashed.
Yeah, exactly. Everything you've done, everything you worked for, your name's tarnished. You're in the books, and it is what it is, and you're done. And you have to go find something else to do.
Yeah.
I think that would be. I hope in the end, that showing though that CrossFit is going after these people and giving them a 4-year penalty is still a stiff penalty.
Yeah.
Like that's 4 years is not a joke.
To have to maintain that level of work and keep your eye on the prize like that far down the road.
Now you're talking like Olympic style stuff. Where
Dude.
you're like, okay, my next event is in 5 years.
And he can't even do like any type of CrossFit competition at all, right? I'm sure he could do like local stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure he could do local stuff,
But he can't do anything to actually get back and go head to head with you or any of the
Right,
guys.
yeah.
Unless they went, I guess, to where he is and did a local
Yeah,
comp.
exactly. Like it's just like now he's just training to train for 5 years.
Dude.
So I mean, I hope in the end that people see it and it stops them from trying to get that edge instead of just working hard for it. I don't know if it will. I don't think it will. I think there's still going to be people out there who are going to take the chances, the limits, test the limits, and
Well, that's what I was going to ask you
push it.
next. I mean, just from totally anecdotally, do you think it's an issue inside of the competition?
it's a hard question to say. I don't know if I would say it's an issue. Do I think that
Does it exist?
Do I
should
think
say.
it exists? Of course.
Yeah.
I think
obviously, last year
yeah.
proven that it did to some degree.
Right. I think I would be naive to think that it's that everyone's playing on the same level field. I don't think so. Do I think it's like
Is rampant,
it's
as most
rampant?
people might
Yeah,
say.
I don't think it is. I think it's actually. I think more people are probably doing it who don't make games, kind of thing.
That's what I was going to say. I bet
Then-
you it's more at the periphery.
right.
From my experience, and again, I have very limited experience with it, but I listen to people talk about it, and it's almost like they think those types of drugs it's like some magical pill.
Right.
So like even Lance Armstrong, right,
Yeah.
he was doping amongst a community of people that were doping. Like I forgot where I saw it. Like if they stripped everybody who had not pissed hot.
It was
or
like
except-
27th.
Yeah, it was the guy who was 3 stages behind.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it, guys, I cannot keep up with the peloton. He got 0 TV coverage, but should have been wearing the yellow jersey, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, you look at Lance's training protocol leading up to the tour, even though he was on that stuff,
Yeah.
it was insane. I mean, the guy was still probably putting in as much, if not more, work than other people. So even in the stuff that you do, you could take that, but if you skip the hard work,
Yeah.
you're not getting anywhere.
No.
I mean, and that's why I would hypothesize, completely out of my ass guess, with no insider knowledge at all, that it probably is the people who are right at that fringe who are willing to put in the hard work, but they can't figure out,
Right.
like, dude, how the hell do I get across this next line so I got a shot at the podium versus being in the in the crowd watching you guys do your thing.
Yeah. Or it's the guy who feels like he thinks everyone else is on it. So he's like,
I think we call those excuses.
exactly. He's like, I can't. Why these guys? If I can't do this,
Yeah.
then why? How can they without taking something?
Yeah.
Like those guys. I
How
think.
dare you be better
Yeah,
than me,
how
Josh?
dare
I
you.
deserve steroids.
Right. So I think there's that aspect to it too, where it's like they just, and then you have the social media and all the hearsay talk about how every person at the games is on steroids,
Yeah.
and, which is just not true.
Well, and it's easier to say that than juxtapose your training regimen with theirs.
Right,
And their
exactly.
discipline. Like, I mean, I know you go through cycles get the competitively. Like, I'm sure you have cycles with your diet and your training volume, but
Yeah.
you dial your shit in for
Yeah.
long periods of time.
yeah.
And that sucks.
It's-
You will sacrifice some
You're
quality.
yeah.
Your quality of life. You're going to miss things that like trips to Montana, which would be amazing
I know,
because you're
right?
doing thrusters, which you can do in Montana.
That just sounds awful.
Hey, Josh, you want to come to Montana? No, I'm doing
I got
thrusters.
thrusters to do today, bro.
How about Thursday instead lift day? Damn it! No, but and well, I see that with the younger like kids in their early or late teens, early 20s. Like they're making that choice, right? They're
Yeah.
putting in that effort, that discipline, and it has a consequence to it.
Yeah.
And for a guy who looks at, I mean, the people who compete in the games, they look ridiculous, right?
Right.
Because of the amount of work you have to put in. It's easier for people to say. And, I mean, shit, I have judgmental thoughts towards other people, too, who are way better at stuff than I am. It's like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I could do that, too.
Yeah.
It's
If
easier
I-
to say, hey, they're cheating, as opposed to
Yeah, exactly.
their work ethic
Right.
is better than mine. Their
Exactly.
discipline is better than mine.
Right. They never want to point the finger at themselves. They want to point the finger at someone else, being like, they're doing that. They're not doing that legally because I can't do it.
Yeah.
Where instead of being like, I don't work hard enough, I don't sacrifice enough, I still drink, on the weekends. I
Just
still
on
stay
days
up
that end
late.
in Y, Josh.
Right. Yeah. Just on days that end in Y. I still eat, cheeseburgers, hamburgers, and burritos and pizza every night, which I kind of did that for a while, but
Hey, it's the difference between taking the easy choice or the hard one.
exactly.
And you guys, you and the people who compete at your level, they make the hard choice for long periods of time.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what eventually gets a lot of people. It's just they kind of crumble under that weight.
Yeah. Very, very true.
So obviously the games didn't go the way you wanted. Did that? I'm gonna hypothesize that lit a fire under your ass for this year.
Yeah, it got me thinking.
Just
a little,
knowing the kind of guy
yeah.
that you are. So, so I
Right.
mean, so there is some good that can come from that, because is it something that you look back on, you're like, nope, that shit ain't happening again.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely never want to have that mistake happen again. But for me, this time it was I didn't beat myself up nearly as bad because I felt like it was a circumstance that I didn't really create. It was just, or maybe I wouldn't say that, because maybe I didn't have my immune system where it should have been or something like
Yep,
that.
there's a lot of variables,
There's a lot of
at the
variables
very
there. So
least.
I didn't beat myself nearly as bad as I normally would. I just chalked it up to like, okay, I need to make a few adjustments here, and kind of see what's going on with my body, why I wasn't able to fight that off, as well as maybe some other people, because I'm sure other people drank that water or did something else the same
Yeah.
as I did, and there's only like one other person I knew that kind of got sick after that swim. So again, came home, took a little bit of time off. My body was really
Define that, because I'm thinking that meant you took Thursday off.
no, man. I actually this was the first year I took 3 weeks off. I literally did nothing for 3
You're
weeks.
so lazy.
And it
3
was
whole weeks.
3 whole weeks, and
You disgust me.
and I felt awful, and I felt worse when I came back. I was like, that didn't do anything. That was no good at all. I'll never do that again.
Do you think it's
So,
because of the volume you're used to, though? Like your body's used to such a
yeah.
crazy volume, and you let it.
I think it was. It was weird. It was just like I didn't like it. My mind was I was losing my mind.
Really?
Yeah, it was just awful.
I would think that almost, even though it might be a painful experience, it might be like a healthy reset for your endocrine system, your immune system.
I kind of hoped it would.
Yeah.
But it didn't. I still felt really bad. I wasn't recovering. I wasn't sleeping well. So I went and got some blood tests done. Went and spoke with like a health doctor basically, and and they told me, she kind of told me that I was because I thought I was dying. I literally I was like, I have cancer. I'm dying. I
You
self-diagnosed.
came in saying, I have blood and brain
Yeah.
cancer. I'm going to die on Thursday.
In 6 months. I self-diagnosed. I
Yes.
had 6 months to live.
I need
And,
I need the treatment immediately. I'd like the platinum dosage.
Yeah.
Start today.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and this is all true. I laugh about it, but this is exactly how I was thinking and feeling in my head. I was like, I'm dying. I have cancer. And and so she's like, you're not dying. You don't have cancer. You are definitely going down a path that you probably want to veer off of. And so, your diet's. I mean, because she's like, I want to see 30 days of your diet.
So she was more like a holistic health
Yeah,
professional, like
Exactly,
all-encompassing.
yeah, all-encompassing, but with blood work and
Good.
stuff like that. And so she's like, I don't want you to change anything. I want you to eat like you would normally eat for 30 days.
Yep.
And I want you to take a food log. And then I want you to, sleep durations, how you're sleeping, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to take blood work. And then after that 30 days and after that blood work, we're going to change some things. And then we're going to show you in a month, like blood work again,
Yeah.
how you're changed. So it was very eye-opening. My food log for 30 days is insane. She's like, do not hold anything back. If you eat one cookie, write it down.
If you eat a pistachio,
yeah,
write it
she's
down.
like, I don't want you to start eating better because you're writing it down.
Yeah.
I want to see exactly.
Well,
how
she
you
needs
eat.
that baseline.
She-
That makes
exactly.
total sense.
Right. She's like, and that's she's like, that's what happens a lot of times. People come in and I tell them to give me a food log, and then all of a sudden it shifts.
Broccoli
Right,
and chicken
yeah,
breast.
right, exactly. It's like, so I was very honest, I was like, oh, if I had a beer, I had.
So what'd you go with? What kind of things were in that food
Oh,
log?
dude, you don't even. It literally looked like it looked like a 12-year-old kid who didn't have parents was feeding a child.
What was your go-to? Like your happy
Dude.
food?
I mean, I was on a solid 3-day rotation of hamburgers one night, a burrito the next night, and pizza the third night.
What's
And
wrong with that?
Exactly, right? And at least having a beer almost every night, probably a few cookies.
Yep.
Lunch. There'd be days where it would be like, I always ate eggs for breakfast. I just always eat eggs for breakfast. I'm not like, I don't know. I like breakfast, and I'll have pancakes or something every once in a while, but not very often. It's
Yep.
just I'm too lazy to make them. So it's like eggs for breakfast. So breakfast starts out okay,
Yeah.
but that was it. It was like 4 eggs, and that was it. Or 3 eggs, I think, and that was it. And then lunch would be a hamburger or a burrito.
Strong.
And then dinner would be a
burrito or a hamburger?
A burrito or a hamburger, a beer, some cookies, and I'm like, man. And
That's not that bad.
it was.
I thought you were going to say like lunch, bag of Doritos,
No, I
side
actually,
of a chocolate milkshake.
I actually ate some. I ate food. It just wasn't good food
Yeah.
or healthy food, I guess you could say. And so, that was pretty eye opening. She's like, man. She's like, this is, you're on a bad path right here. Like, and she's like, you don't, and all the symptoms that you're telling me is that your body isn't able to handle, like gluten and dairy. And I was drinking a lot of milk
Yep.
and gluten and dairy. And I think that'll help with your sleep. And so she wanted me to go on a cleanse, and I couldn't do it.
Like
I
a
was like a
juice
straight
cleanse?
up, not a cleanse, but just like removing. There was a lot of stuff being removed, she wanted me to remove coffee. I was like,
First off,
I was like,
where did she get her degree?
Lock it up.
Yeah. Where did you get your degree? Online?
Right,
University of Phoenix online? Like,
Yeah.
shut your face.
Lock it up, lady.
Yeah, you're out. You're fired.
So I used to do 2 cups of coffee. I switched to since then I cut it down to 1.
Yeah, you were telling me that when we were
Yeah.
texting back and forth.
Yeah, so I only do 1 cup of coffee now a day.
Is it 64-ounce cup?
No. It's literally just still the same one.
The
I
redneck
think
guzzler
it's-
from 7-Eleven just folded the brim.
This 1 gallon jug of coffee. That's
It's
all I do.
a cup. So
It's
yeah,
a-
taped it right on the
It
side.
says 1 cup right there. Sir, that's a gallon. No, so I do the 1 cup. It's only 10 ounces of coffee. And she wanted me to cut that out, like no sugar. I don't even think she wanted me to have eggs for a while. And I
So
was
by
like,
no sugar, you mean though no refined sugar?
refined sugar,
Because
right,
obviously if
like,
you
yeah.
have fruit, there's
And
going
she
to
actually wanted limited amounts of fruit. It was basically leafy.
She just wanted vegetables.
She wanted leafy greens and lean meats. And
Did
that
she
was it.
care about the kind of lean meat? She didn't care if it was fish, chicken.
She wanted me to do fish like twice a week, and then mainly chicken, and then like she didn't want like
Not a lot of red.
like that, not a lot of red meat.
Yep.
And I couldn't like full force step into it. And then another thing that was happening a lot prior to was I was getting sick. I had never been so sick this many times. I want to say over a 2-year period prior to the 16 or 17 games, I'd probably gotten sick like 5 times, which in my life, I don't think I've ever been sick 5 times. Like I like flew twice. I got like or what I have. No, I had like this Christmas actually. I got like hit with like the beginning stages of pneumonia.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy. Like
Sounds like your immune system is
yeah. So my immune
hurting.
system was not doing well.
Yeah.
So I made a lot of adjustments. Couldn't go on to the strict like none of this everything. I still had to have like 1 coffee. I'm drinking a lot more water, and I'm eating actually a lot more. And I removed most gluten. I can't say I'm eating gluten free. I would not
Yeah.
say that. And I don't do almost any dairy anymore.
So how fast, when you started making those changes, did you feel it?
Man, it was pretty quick. It was like a 2-3 week, maybe a month, to where all of a sudden my energy levels were up throughout the day. I didn't hit that like midday.
2 p.m. poof.
Yeah, like I want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Didn't hit that.
Well, that's got to be tough for you though too, because of the volume of work you're doing. Like,
Right.
I don't understand how you are not napping constantly.
I definitely still like get tired a lot, but I'm like, okay, I can now. I feel better that I'm not having that second cup of coffee.
Yeah.
That second cup of coffee was kind of like, it just felt like a crutch too, And
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and now it's
The
like,
afternoon from 1 for me is my 6th, though.
Yeah.
This second thing is ridiculous.
yeah, it's like it's.
You need to redouble your efforts.
Don't get me wrong. I still think about it every day. That second cup of coffee. I'm like, man, I could really use that.
Yeah.
That's actually on really stressful days. I still have it.
Yeah.
That's like my. That's
We'll
like,
cut that part out in case she
Yeah.
listens. It's fine.
Right. I don't. Yeah. So it's like, I'm like, it's so funny how things change in life to where it used to be like, oh man, I'm having a bad day. I'm gonna go home and have 5 beers. Now it's
Yeah.
like, I don't even care. I'm gonna have my second cup of coffee now.
You can't stop me.
You
I'm an adult.
can't- I'm an
I
adult.
will have my second cup of
I
coffee.
will do it, lady.
So the changes came about
So the
pretty quick.
the change came about really quick, and just the energy levels came back up. My recovery, it was weird. My joints started to feel better, which was
I've heard about that associated with the inflammation.
Yeah,
Probably from
I think, yeah, my
if
body
there was a
was-
gluten sensitivity or whatever. You might have had a
Right.
sense. I'm
I don't
so
even
far
know.
from being a nutritionist or understanding.
exactly,
Yeah.
But I definitely think that like the swelling, I felt like there was definitely I had some inflammation issues with the body, and I definitely started to feel that go away as I started to clean up my diet, and so. Don't get me wrong. I still have hamburgers every once in a while. I still have a burrito every once in a while, pizza every once in a while. But it's not like I just can't have. I mean, I'm 34 years old. I'm a spring chicken. I'm in my prime. But
know.
I don't.
I don't know if I would use those terms.
I wanna-
saw you turn down the Masters invite this year, which I think it's a bad sign if the mid-30s are your transition into the retirement home category.
Exactly right. I'm like 34. Come on, man. I'm in my prime. But yeah, it's just been really eye opening, and like it almost makes me wish that I would have had someone to tell me to do this earlier, even though I enjoyed eating pizza and
Yeah.
burritos and hamburgers every day. But it was like, man, what could I have been? Because I felt like I was at a pretty good place, for a while. But I'm like, man, if I would have cleaned it up earlier, like,
Yeah.
how much better could I have been?
Imagine if they had people, and hopefully they do now, working with the teams like that,
Yeah.
dialing dudes in. I don't know. I hope everybody gets a
definitely
baseline.
It's definitely going that way for sure.
Well, it should. I mean,
but
they
you have to seek it out. I felt like even towards the end of my career, it was
Yeah.
there, but you had to seek it out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like because the same way, like guys in CrossFit, people in CrossFit, they don't eat the healthiest. They don't some of them do. A
Yeah.
lot of the great ones do, but they still are, have that like young mindset where it's like just shove any kind of food in your mouth and go out and train as hard as you can. Don't stretch, that's how I got into CrossFit. Of
Yeah.
course, I'm same as you. You go put some weight on the bar. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go. Let's get
I'm
this
going to
thing
start
going.
stretching in a couple years.
Right? Yeah.
I've
right. Me
got
too.
it on the calendar.
I really hope I can. And
I'm going to incorporate warm-ups, cool-downs, and stretching in a few years.
and then but then
It's programmed.
and the team is the same way, like you have these guys who are, a lot of them are great at athletically and then great at
They have athletic ability.
yeah, athletic
Yeah.
ability, but then they, they booze like it's insane, and then they, eat like crap, and man, like, and so they have that same mindset where not a ton of them are seeking out that information, where if they did, exactly, they could just prolong their careers even longer.
It gets a little tricky. I'm sure you would agree too. Like when you're local, it'd be easy to roll down to the gym and talk to those people, and then you go
Yeah.
to Nyland for a month, right?
Right.
Like it gets a little tougher.
You're traveling.
Then you get
a lot.
overseas, and you're like bitching MREs. My diet is completely outside of my wheelhouse, and I'm gonna eat this one and then go to the bathroom 5 days from now. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna come out looking like a brick.
God, I loved watching people who had their diet like so dialed. They had to have jet fuel. And then you get overseas, you're like, is that diesel working for you? How's that working?
Right,
Are
yeah.
you taking protein powder out in the field? Is that why you're out of water? Because I see you over there making a shake. It's like, and they crumble, right?
Yeah.
So I would say for the military people, it's a balance. Like,
It is.
get yourself to the 80% solution. But my theory is you have to be able to function on diesel fuel
For sure.
occasionally.
Yeah.
If you need your 6 ounces of chicken breast and your protein and your creatine,
Right.
and you find yourself out in the desert hiding under a rock, you might be screwed. you just might end up screwing
It is.
yourself.
It's so true, though. I completely agree. I remember my last deployment, I had like 2 of these Stanley cases filled with like baby food packets. And I remember I reached out to a baby food company because it was like I knew I wasn't gonna get vegetables, and so I just got like this.
Oh, you'd get vegetables. You'd just die if you ate them.
Yeah, right. You consider these Afghanistan rocks here vegetables, I guess. Yeah,
There's some local turnips and things.
Right,
It's fine.
right. Man, I had like a whole Stanley case of like baby food spinach packets, and
I had never even thought about that. That's a
yeah,
great idea,
yeah,
actually.
Yeah, I carry those with me everywhere, and then I remember.
God, I wish I had a picture of that.
Right.
I would just torture you with that picture.
Of
course, it'd be photoshopped into many other colorful things. But
But yeah, it is an interesting. It is a lot harder in the military where you're constantly traveling. You're
and with the
constantly on
deployment
road.
cycle too, and like
Yeah.
there would be times where you'd probably be separated from those 2 cases. I mean, you never
Yeah.
know. You
Oh,
might
yeah.
get surged somewhere, and like, oh, well,
Right.
those are gone for a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
it gets tough for sure.
Yeah.
So what's next, man? I mean, obviously you got this year.
So now, yeah, the regionals is on the horizon here next weekend. I'm pretty fired up for that.
You already tested all the workouts?
I think I've gone through every one of them. No, I think I have one more. I'm kind of doing like a regionals weekend this weekend again. So yesterday I did the first 2. Today I'm gonna do day 2. Tomorrow day 3. But I've done event 5 and I've done event 3 already. So
How do they play into your wheelhouse? Pretty good?
yeah. This I love this year's regional workouts. They're all really like they're all CrossFit. There's no.
I didn't look at them. What are they? Give me a rundown of what they are.
So day 1 you start out. Day 1 is brutal. Day 1 you start out with a 3K. It's a triple threes. We did the workout at 2014 games. It's 3K row, 300 double unders.
Did you say 3K row?
3K row.
Yeah, I'm already out.
Yeah, right. 3K row, 300 double unders, and a 3-mile run. At the games we did it on the street. At regionals we do it on that beast
Oh, the
right
runner,
there.
the true form?
The
Which one?
The assault runner.
How you like that thing?
It's okay. Yeah, they're definitely different. I have a true form and the assault runner,
Yeah.
and the true form they're both good. They both have their serve
Pros
their
and
purpose.
cons, yeah.
The assault runner you can run fast, like it kind of turns over faster.
Okay.
So you can run
You
fast.
can get up to pace,
You can get up to
speed
pace
faster, yeah.
Where the true form's a little bit more of like I feel like pushing a sled or pulling a sled as you run because it's like it's super like you definitely activate hamstring.
I was going to say that could
glute.
get exhausting pretty
Yeah.
fast.
So it's
More like a sand run maybe then? Like you got that extra resistance? Or it's just – actually, sand wouldn't even replicate it.
Yeah, sand because you run different in sand. I
Yeah.
feel like you like foxtrot in sand. Where it's just different. You still run properly, but it's just harder to like you have to really pull.
Hold on. What did you just say you do in sand?
You foxtrot, man.
What in the hell is foxtrotting?
You don't know what foxtrotting is? It's like where your feet you kind of run where your feet are kind of in front of you a little bit.
I always run with my feet in front of me.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, you're a solid runner then.
The last time I ran, it was 2009, I think.
What is this, jogging?
Yeah, and I did a 5-mile run cumulatively over the last 6 years. It didn't take
Nailed
long.
it. No, you run with your feet because you can't drive in sand, right?
I'm just curious about the term foxtrotting. I've never heard that. Where did you
Really?
get that?
I think one of the instructors said that in Buds. Maybe it was made up. I don't know. Maybe I'm an asshole.
Foxtrot. I'm going to use that term
I
today
kinda
at
like-
a
yeah,
completely irrational time.
Like their feet, they kind of just like pat. See what I'm doing with my hands right now?
I see. Yeah, it's tough on the
good.
audio only, but
it's
yeah, I get it.
foxtrotting.
He's foxtrotting with his hands. It's very difficult.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah. So you get the triple threes.
It's a new technique.
Yeah.
So yeah, start with the triple threes, and then you go into Linda.
Yeah. The barbells of death.
3 bars of death. So
Yeah.
and they use the average weight of last year's competitors, which I think was 195 pounds.
Oh, that's great for you.
Yeah. So no, I you know what's so funny is when they announced that bench and the 195 is fine. But Linda's one of my favorite workouts.
Yeah.
Anytime I get asked what's your favorite like a girl workout,
Yeah.
it's either Linda or Amanda.
So Linda, for people who are unfamiliar with CrossFit, you get 3 barbells. It's what is it? 1.5 times body weight deadlift, right? For 10 reps, first round.
Yeah.
And then is it body weight
bench,
and then
and then
3/4 body weight clean, right?
Squat clean, yep.
And then 9 of each, 8 of each, all the way down to 1. And it's as hard as you want to make it.
Yeah,
It's as hard.
It's
It
a
can take
nasty
you
workout.
2 hours, and you'd be
Yeah.
like, wow, that was a great workout.
Yeah, right.
You probably do it in like 5 minutes, which
wish.
would be a way more
Yeah.
intense experience.
Right. No, it's good. I've done the workout a million times, and when I just love the fact that they're actually implementing bench into CrossFit because
I actually don't.
it's such an athletic.
Have you seen that yet? Or
No,
is
this is the first time.
I was going to say, I was
Yeah,
just kind of going back through the Rolodex of things that I've seen. And
other than in the team series,
Okay.
they did it one year in the team series, which I mean you can consider that it's not the CrossFit season, I guess it's the out of season
Yep.
experience. So no, I think bench press is such an athletic movement and that everybody should be able to do it. And so I bench press at least once a week, so it's not like a big deal. And like where I think and for this workout, that's kind of the determining factor.
you think that's where people hang up?
Yeah, the people who don't bench, like if you can't get through the bench unbroken, you're not going to win the workout. And
Oh,
so,
for sure. If you
yeah.
can't get through every one of those movements unbroken, you're
Yeah.
not going to win. Yeah.
Well, I think the clean, you're going to see some people. I think most people will start with singles and then go into touch and go. Because it's squat clean, it's not power clean.
Oh, yeah, probably around like 7 or 6, they might just start repping it
I think
up.
the guy, the European regional, the guy who did win though, did do all of it unbroken.
Did he?
And he was a big dude though. He weighed 235 or 230.
Oh, so he was at advantage because the body weight stuff was factored off lighter than him.
Yeah, so everything was lighter than him. But he still, it was a phenomenal. I think he scored like 12 minutes or something like that. So it was fast. But yeah.
So that's day 1.
So that's day 1. So that's a solid 2 events. You know, day 1 typically is a lot lighter and faster, shorter than that. And so that's a good day 1. Day 2, you start off with the handstand walk obstacle event where you're going to do 3 rounds of 9 muscle ups. You're going to handstand walk up a flight of stairs, down a hill, up a hill, down a flight of stairs, and then you're going to do sets of pistols. On the first set, you're going to
Pistols are one-legged squats.
Yeah, sorry, one-legged
Yep.
squats. You're going to do a set of 36, and then the second round of that, you're going to do a set of 45, and the final round, you're going to do a set of 54.
Oh, my God.
And then after your pistols, you have to handstand walk back through the obstacles to the rings. And
First 3 years of the CrossFit Games, nobody would be able to complete that.
no, not even one.
Not even a single person.
not a single
I don't think they'd be able to get through the first round. Like, that's just insane to me how much it's grown.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Or
where it's
evolved, I should say. Not necessarily grown. but
right, where
evolved.
you saw last year, like I mean, I wouldn't say this isn't a beginner packet.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you got you go from having the handstand walk 30 feet increments, and actually you could break it up by 15s to now you have to handstand walk up flights of stairs and down hills.
What's the ruling if you lose it on going up the stairs? Start all the way at the bottom?
Yeah, you have to go. There's a line at the beginning and end of each little obstacle. There's 2 basically little foam sections of the
Yeah.
obstacle, and so you have to.
If you break the threshold, you start
Yeah.
at that threshold.
Right. Yep. And so you have to go back to the line.
So what else you got day 2?
So then day 2, the second workout is a faster workout where it's 2 rounds of 10 snatches. They can be power snatches at 175, 12 burpees. So you do 2 rounds of that, and then you go right into 2 rounds of 10 snatches at 115 and 12 burpees. So it's like this. All right, move heavyweight, but you get your heart rate up, and
Yeah.
then move lightwait, and your heart rate
And just suffer.
And just
suffer. That
right.
that second part's just about pain tolerance.
Right, exactly, because
Yeah.
it's like you should not stop moving.
You're going to want to.
You sure are. When your legs feel
Which-
like cinder blocks.
Is probably the point of that workout.
Yeah, right. And so that's day 2, and then we finish off the weekend with, oh man, event 5 is nasty. It is just dirty. So you got it's the 50s. It's kind of the long chipper workout.
Yep.
So you got 50 handstand push-ups. Not really a big deal anymore.
Again, would disqualify everybody. Probably the first 5 years now of
Right.
the CrossFit Games. If you said 50 handstand push-ups,
Yeah, in a row. So that's the beginning of the workout, and that's actually like it's not really much of the workout. And then you got 50 toes to bar,
yep,
and then you go into a 50 cal bike on the assault bike,
which feels amazing.
which is going to be great. And then
It's mostly like coasting downhill. It's no big deal.
right, it's basically you don't even have to pedal.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pull out this bad boy right here, a 24-inch box, and you're going to have to grab 2 70-pound dumbbells, and you're going to have to go over the box 50 times.
Is there any way you have to carry it? Can you put it down? Like what are the rules? Can you throw them
You
over?
throw them over. No.
Which would get dangerous because they'd bounce everywhere. That'd be awesome.
I mean, I guess the rules are the dumbbells can't touch the box, and your hands can't touch the box. So like, I think you can carry them over any way.
I expect you to swing them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And as the momentum comes forward,
I'm just gonna jump over
and
the
you
box.
just let it rip you over the box.
And never even touch the box.
Yep.
So you got to do that 50 times, which that's basically the workout.
Yeah.
And then you end it with, though, you got to take those 70-pound dumbbells and you got to walk, you got to lunge 50 feet with both dumbbells up at your shoulder, but one overhead and one at your shoulder.
Can you alternate, or does it have to be?
No, the first one has to be right arm, and then the second one you switch. The second 50 feet you go switch. So you got to do 100 feet of lunging. 50
I've
feet.
never even tried that with one arm up like that.
It's harder than just if you have one dumbbell up overhead, because this one's just kind of like it's just more weight.
Yeah. Well,
now you're lunging with 140 pounds.
and compressing like your chest cavity too, making it harder to breathe.
And so it's definitely a little bit harder. It's not a double overhand. This is awful.
Yeah.
Because of mobility issues.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't happen for me.
Yeah, right.
I can do one of two things. I can get them both overhead, or I can lunge.
Yeah.
You're not getting
Yeah,
a combination. Unless they're 1 ounce each, and I can hold them out in front of me.
So that's the end of the workout. So you got 50 handstand push-ups, 50 toes to bar, 50 cal bike, 50 box step overs, and then 2 50-foot lunges with the dumbbells.
It does sound like that'll play to your strengths. Sure.
I love that workout.
Yeah.
It's
I mean the whole thing, like the whole weekend package.
The only part is that box is about waist height.
Yeah.
That 24-inch box is.
I was gonna say shoulder, but
good dude. So that's the only thing for me, but it's not an issue. I mean, I've been messing with it, and so it's good. It plays a little more strength to the taller people, but they have to do 50 handstand push-ups, where my handstand push-up literally moves probably 7 centimeters.
Well, and then you go to the snatch stuff. Their lever arms are long. Like it all works.
It all works itself out.
Because
exactly.
you could probably do a rep and a half in comparison to a crazy ass tall person or just a normal height man. You know what I mean?
What a dick.
That's all right. I think you fall into the category of a short person. I don't know.
I can see it.
Dwarf maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. And then you'll have some time off, right? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're gonna make it. You're gonna qualify.
Well, then we got event 6.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
I'm sorry.
That's not the end of the weekend.
How dare I think that would be the end of it?
How dare you, sir?
What else is there?
And so then the last workout is actually it's another shorter workout, I guess, where you start with 4 rope climbs with with a 15-foot rope that doesn't have a bottom, so you kind of have to do a little bit of legless.
Yep.
And you start with 4 reps. You do 16 thrusters at 155.
Damn.
Yeah. 3 rope climbs, 12 thrusters at 155. 2 rope climbs, 8 thrusters at 155.
Those thrusters can be punishing.
155 is no joke.
It is no joke. But again, year 1 of the CrossFit Games, it was power clean and then jerk 135,
right?
5 reps. And when I think it was either Dave or Greg pulled the little
it was heavy. It's
ball
heavy.
out, he was like, "Ooh, heavy push jerk." People are like, "Oh God, what's it gonna be?"
135.
And people are like, "Ooh,
that's stout."
I don't know if I can do that. I mean, like now people are like, are we warming up
that's
here?
the first warm up weight.
Yeah. It's. I just wonder if that trajectory can continue. Like it has to reach a point.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, I think so. I think it's gonna. It's you kind of look at the strongman stuff and see where that's going. Where what those guys are doing is incredible, but it kind of feels like it's moving up at such a smaller increments now.
Yeah, they have a micrometer out for their improvement. Like the dude's lifting 1,000 pounds on deadlift, like goddamn, and then the guy's like 1,001.
Yeah, gotcha.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Put the clips on.
Yeah, and that record holds for 3 years.
Right.
They're at the upper limit, I think, of what's possible in that world. At least.
It's kind of like track, and I think it's like everything where. Okay, so your 100-meter dash, or 100-yard sprint or whatever, a 100-meter sprint is, it's like 9.7, and that held up for years, and it's like 9.68. It's like
we'll stand forever.
Crushed him. I just crushed them. So I think at a certain point, we're 11 years in now, and so I don't know. I think it'll be a little while before we'll see the the taper, get to smaller increments. But yeah, I mean,
And then it'll be just based off creativity and how
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
exactly.
The recipe that you put together.
I mean that's the thing about CrossFit too, is it's anything.
Yeah.
Like it's like you don't even know what you're training for a lot of the times. I mean, you know the standard movements, but it's not like every other sport where
Yeah.
you know what you're training for. It's like
For sure.
we could be going heavy. You could train all year long. I could do a 500,000 snatches.
Yeah.
And you won't see one snatch in the whole season. It's crazy.
happens.
Right? How many muscle ups do you do in your off season?
0.
You obviously. Obviously.
Since you're asking me, the answer is
Yeah.
0.
But you'll do, gosh, if I like count up the number of muscle ups I do, and then you do 27.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Better be good at those 27.
Yeah,
though.
right. Best
If you wanna
27
pl-
ever.
Yeah, if you want to pay to play, you better be good at those 27.
It's just crazy, like how like the training volume compared to like what you'll see sometimes, or like you'll do 200,000 meters of rowing.
Yeah.
And then you'll see 500 meters.
Or swimming too.
yeah,
you know
or
what I mean?
swimming, yeah, right, exactly.
Because there'll be some kind of component. It's going to show up. I would say it's the volume of which it will show up.
Right.
But you better train like it's going to be a marathon.
You better train for a marathon and you better train for sprints too. It's not even like you got to train for both. That's the thing, is like it's always like you can't be a specialist in anything because you have to train. You have to be really well trained at everything. It's like I have to be trained to be able to swim a mile really fast, but I also need to be able to do 50-yard sprints.
Yeah.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's a lot of work that goes into it, man. I sit back and I
and it's
watch you guys,
fun.
and it just makes me tired. I wouldn't use the term fun at all. I wouldn't even use the term approaching fun.
Well, that's because you get to go shoot animals with your bow and drink.
That is fun.
That looks fun.
Sometimes you drink after, sometimes you drink before. It's hard to say.
Sometimes you drink during.
Depends on whether or not you want.
Mid shot.
Depends on whether or not you want to be successful. Yeah, I'm not even at a year yet of bow hunting. I started this August when I go to Alberta with Dudley for elk.
Oh man.
Will be the 1 year.
That's cool.
It's been crazy, man. I've
Yeah.
yet to repeat a species.
Really?
Yeah, I did the most recent hunt. I was supposed to go hunt black bear. I wasn't able to go. But before that, we were out in Lanai hunting axis deer, the most unbelievably beautiful animal, like the crazy white spots on them,
yeah.
and they're constantly switched on.
Right.
And if I had a machine gun, I would kill every one of the does because they just sit there staring at you and you go, meow, and you're done. You've been crawling on your face and you hear that noise and you're like, oh,
Oh man.
you guys have a nice day because I guess my day's over.
Right.
So that was awesome. And then before that, we did some hog stuff.
Where was that at? Where was the access at?
Lanai.
Okay.
There's like 20-some thousand on that island and maybe 2,000 people there.
Oh wow.
Crazy. And then hogs before that, which was interesting because they all have like strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
Like hogs, you can't beat their nose, right? Because their whole body is based around their nose, but they can't see for shit.
Right.
You just stand still, be like, I'm a tree, I'm a tree, I'm a tree. You'll probably be okay, assuming you're downwind. And then before that, some deer stuff. And then there was we went to France to hunt chamois or chamois, which is, I think, a goat-looking thing. I hunted turkey for 2 days with a bow. I saw a blind, or I was in the blind and I saw a decoy. I actually don't know what a turkey in the wild looks like, so that was awesome.
Turkeys are hard.
Yeah, and we were involved. We were there for kind of like a competition, so you drew the land you were going to be on. So turkeys were either there or they weren't.
Oh, gotcha.
I have no idea if they were there or they
Yeah.
weren't. I know the decoy was there because I stared at it for hours.
Obviously, if you didn't find
Yeah.
any, they weren't there.
I don't know.
No. Yeah.
Couldn't tell you. Don't know what they sound like in the wild, but I got a really good look at the decoy.
That's what they sound like right there.
Yeah. But
Like a
for
little
them,
goblin.
from them, they're saying their strength is their eyes. Crazy
Yeah.
vision.
Yeah.
Exponentially better than you and I. So if
Right.
they see you, you're toast.
Yep.
And then the elk earlier in the season, and then some deer stuff. So it's been cool, man. I mean, I suck at it, which I think is why I love it so much.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Dude,
the shooting component is just one thing aside.
Right.
And
yeah.
then,
You have to actually be able to stalk these animals and find them, and then.
Which plays to our benefit. On
sure.
that one, I'm like, oh, okay, I know this game. I'm going to put
Yeah.
this tree between you and me. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I could wear a red flannel if I wanted to right now, and you can't see me.
There's people who do that, I think, actually. Like they're basically going out in red, white, and blue ski suits just to prove that if you know what you're doing, like the animals aren't paying attention
Right.
that much.
I knew a guy in our training who, when we went through Scout, he would do his stalks in flannels, like bright flannels.
Yeah.
And he,
If you do it right,
you
you're
look
fine.
at him, you look at him and be like, "You're an asshole."
Dude, when I was going through the stalking phase of sniper school, I remember when I learned my really good lesson about dead space
Oh yeah.
because I'd been crawling on my face for like 45 minutes. and I hear just this crunching noise on the dirt next to me, and I look over, and there's just a guy standing literally 2 feet to my right, looking down at me, going, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Right.
And he just walks off, and I'm sitting there like sweating, sore. The best ab workout of my life because you have your drag bag attached to your foot. And you're
Right.
just doing this knee up to your stomach.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. And I just looked over and it's like, how are you walking?
Yeah.
And oh, there's a really huge bush right over there. And I just spent the next 20 minutes sliding over, and then I stood up and I walked.
Yep. It's
Because I would
terrible.
like they'd say, okay, your time starts now, go, and I'd just full back dive,
Oh yeah.
full on, just full back dive, and the next thing you know, like you're like, where's the picnic table? Where are they at?
You're right.
I am not in a good position. And then I learned I would just sit there and I would find them first with the binos and go tree, ditch, tree, bush. All right, let's go.
Yeah,
And-
exactly. Yeah, it's
get out there
once
fresh
you,
and
once
chipper.
you learn how to do it, it's so much easier. Yeah.
but first, you must suffer
exactly.
to understand and appreciate the bush and the tree.
exactly.
Well, I'm going to let you work out because I know you got to do some more of the workouts, man. But there you go. Episode 2, episode 40. So I'll get back with you in like another 2 years because I'll probably mess up the release timing again.
Perfect. At that point, you probably won't want to talk to me anyways.
Oh, I will. I will. Right on, man.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I couldn't have had more fun sitting down with Josh. We literally sat around on the floor of his gym and just BS'd. Some of the best conversations I've ever had are environments like that, especially when you know a guy for as long as I've known Josh. So I hope you enjoyed it. Got another good one coming up for you next week, talking about a topic that is, it's trending in the news. And it actually wasn't intentional that we had the conversation that we did about gun control and potential steps to hopefully have an impact. What else is going on? Just released the Danger Close t-shirt, which will make sense to people who listen to the podcast. I'm relatively sure it's going to be lost on just about everybody else, but that's okay because it wasn't made for everybody else. If you like the podcast, do me a favor, tell somebody about it. Share the links when I post them out there. And if you don't like it, go in or somehow get a hold of me and tell me what I can do to make it better. It's obviously not going to be something that everybody listens to, that everybody likes, but I'm open to any suggestions or critiques that you may have. A good place to make those suggestions or critiques would be on iTunes. Go on there and leave me a review. Good, bad, ugly, indifferent. Doesn't matter to me. You're not going to hurt my feelings. And I think that's it. And a reminder, this episode is brought to you by BlueChew.com, right? I'm going to get a prescription. I'm going to have to try this. Like I said, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And how I'm going to do that, I am personally going to go to BlueChew.com. Has the first chewables, right, with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. You get your first shipment for free when you go to their website. You use the promo code HOT, H-O-T. It's going to cost you $5. BlueChew.com, promo code HOT. I want to see some social media pictures with the wrapping.